Well, I'll tell you what, while celebrating a holiday that desecrated an entire nation of people, I think it's kind of fitting that WWE desecrated the Undertaker's career.
The most storied, and protected career of anybody in professional wrestling by far.
And went out with a whimper and a purr.
And now he's doing really ridiculous cameos for people's mom's birthdays and thanking Vince and Linda and WWE for making any of this possible. Oh, it's so fun.
It's awesome. And we are going to get into that, folks. We're going to get into that, and you're going to hear every sigh, cuss, and scream that we have about it.
Got a lot of that in me today, Fat Mack.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Paystee's fired up today, folks. Yeah, should be a fun show. I think it's going to be another short one. But, this COVID deal, I think everything suffers. And our podcast is no different.
Yep.
With less stuff going on, there's just going to be less news. That's a given.
I hope all you fine people out there who celebrated Thanksgiving at home have plenty of leftovers for yourselves this year. That's, I think, the biggest bonus of it.
I had me and my son had a little COVID Thanksgiving by ourselves, and I thought we'd have a lot of leftovers. And really, we just had we had extra potatoes and extra green bean casserole, and just about enough for one extra day of it, really.
Oh, nice.
I was surprised. I thought we'd have more, but it was very nice. I hate to say it, but it was really nice to just be alone on Thanksgiving with my son and just be able to do it, him and I.
Hey, it's kind of cool. I mean, whose fucking bright idea was it to have two family gathering holidays less than a month apart anyway?
Not only that, but
lunatic.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I'd say more than 50% of folks go to two different family events for both of those holidays. That's 4 times you're meeting family that you don't even like. Like 1, maybe 2 out of the 7 you see you like.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 you tolerate, and the rest of them.
And who knows with 2020, because battle lines have been drawn.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's crazy. I've heard of gatherings, Paystee, this week where kids were shooting guns around and everything. It's insane. It's a weird time, buddy.
It's crazy.
But the holiday is coming up, and it is the time to give gifts. And I think any pro wrestling fan could definitely appreciate a T-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com.
Oh, yes. If you're a fan of any pro wrestler in an indie promotion, or any non-wrestler for that matter, then you're likely familiar with ProWrestlingTees.com. No, they're not a sponsor, folks. This is a segment. It is akin to WWEshop.com, also not a sponsor. But for the talent outside of that promotion, as it's a website and store for wrestlers to sell merchandise. In an interview with Chris Van Vliet, one that I actually did not get to listen to this week, but I'm looking forward to it, the site created by Ryan Barkan has exposed the best-selling shirt of 2020. He stated the number 1 seller of the year is Orange Cassidy. It's the orange shirt that just has the thumbs up on it and says, "Freshly squeezed." That's the number 1 seller for the year. Well, when we got... It's a big fall from Bullet Club, isn't it? I love Orange Cassidy, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, it surprised me. Yeah, I love Orange Cassidy. I know he has a big cult following, but wow, yeah, that did surprise me.
Yes. And of course, when asked what the best-selling shirt of all time is, he revealed the second Bullet Club shirts. The Bone Soldier with the skull, and of course, that's...
Obviously.
Iconic. Iconic! Do the pose. Thank you.
Yes, I did it.
Did you go to the left or the right? That's the question.
I went to the right.
Oh, good. We're on the same page.
Right.
Well, opposite pages, but perfectly.
Right.
And they've sold about 150,000 of that shirt specifically. Not the iconic shirt. That's on WWE Shop and probably hasn't sold a quarter of that.
Probably not. Yeah, I think that's kind of really telling. Surprised. And there's a little correlation there, and you can see that it seems that AEW at least picks the folks that have that cult following, because you can tell a number of people from Bullet Club are in AEW now. I guess a number of people from Bullet Club are in Impact and New Japan and WWE, so I guess that kind of pointless to say. But yeah, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, #1 selling shirt of 2020, caught me off guard.
That's good stuff.
And he's earned it. He deserved it. This isn't like a title where somebody in the back, thinks a good story means that they get this. I mean, he's literally earned people wanting to buy his merchandise. That's amazing.
I want to know what the sales on that site would look like if WWE allowed their performers to sell their merch on that site.
Oh, I'd go through the roof.
Would it? Yeah, but how would it stack up to Bullet Club? Like, would Bullet Club be not non-existent in comparison? I mean, and this is also me saying, WWE is still going to have their own merchandise too, but wrestlers are just able to sell side merchandise over there, or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, it would definitely change the format a bit. It definitely would. And Paystee, there was a man quite a few years ago who changed the format for all of pro wrestling, because in this week pro wrestling history, we go all the way back to 11/27/1949. National Wrestling Alliance World Heavyweight Champion Orville Brown forfeits the title to Lou Thesz due to injuries suffered in a car accident.
Very pressing injuries.
The accident
Lou Thesz
would end.
Pressing.
I got it. The accident would end Brown's career, but as for Thesz, he would spend the next 3 years unifying every version of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, completing his task in Los Angeles when he defeated Baron Michel Leon in 1952.
Like the man
all
who
right,
did the
there's Stone Cold.
Press better than the man who invented it.
Yeah, but you know what? I think Mickey James did a little better than Stone Cold.
I want to see Stone Cold go for a Guinness Book of World Records where there's just like a line of dudes and he's got a Lou Thesz press
them. That's awesome. So yeah, that's kind of how the storied career of Lou Thesz came about. And I think it may sound weird to some people listening. He unified every version of the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Back then, there was no TV covering stuff, and there wasn't even really national publications. They were all local. So there was literally a NWA World Heavyweight Champion in a lot of different territories, because, I mean, you want to have a championship match, don't you?
Yep.
So, but I like the fact that they actually had him win them all to unify it into one.
The ultimate
really awesome
undisputed champion.
Yes, before Jericho. Good old Lou Thesz.
Good times. But you can't have good times without bad times, and I tell you, last Sunday.
Woo!
WWE Survivor Series. Holy crap. I wasn't impressed. I mean, I'm usually not impressed, but I was especially unimpressed this year.
I was explaining before the show, it was very up and down for me. I think I literally enjoyed every other match and literally didn't like every other match. So, kind of odd. Kind of a weird one. So I guess, you want to start this out, Paystee?
Yeah, we'll kick it off with the pre-show, which featured your typical Survivor Series Battle Royal. This being an 18-man dual-brand Battle Royal, with The Miz winning for reasons. I don't know. He doesn't need it. He has the Money in the Bank now. It was kind of weird and awkward to me.
Did you watch it?
I had it on. And I can't remember who, but I remember saying there was like some definitely more deserving people than The Miz. He did that stupid shit where he stays outside the ring until the end.
Oh, God. That's getting so old and cliche.
He's done it too many times himself, just as him. Like, in wrestling, It's lame, but he's done it a lot.
Lazy writing. That's all it is, really.
That's Survivor Series for you.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a little documentary they were doing on Wrestle Talk's new channel about why Survivor Series sucks, and it's because Survivor Series was made to block out other promotions' shows.
Starrcade.
Yeah, Starrcade.
Yeah. Jim Crockett's Starrcade,
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted to counter program. In fact, Vince McMahon told the cable companies that if they didn't run Survivor Series instead of Starrcade, he wouldn't let them have WrestleMania, and that's how he ended up getting all the extra buys. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so Survivor Series started good because it was out of necessity, but much like things in WWE go, it became less necessary every year, and it still continued. Like Vince.
Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is, with it being one of the big four, they're just not going to retire it just because of that, which is pointless.
Yeah.
They retired so many other pay-per-views. Just retire Survivor Series.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Elimination Chamber, even though that's boring too, is probably more fitting to be a big four just because it's the caliber of the event,
Well, and it is basically it is basically a Survivor Series. It's just not a tag.
Yeah.
It's not teams of 5 strive to survive. It's 5 guys strive to 5 high five.
Burgers and fries. Something about burgers and fries.
It's gotta rhyme, damn it. You want the colossal tussle. The brawl to end it all. The colossal tussle. Gotta love the colossal tussle.
But big shouts out to Wrestle Talk. I like what they're doing with Wrestle 2. They got a lot more like documentary stuff, like explaining like things that happened, blading why it was so great and why it's not good at the same time, like things like that. I like what they're doing. They're doing good stuff.
That's cool. I didn't even know they had a new channel. I might have to check that out. That's kind of neat. And we move into the actual show. We start off with the men's traditional Survivor Series match. Team Raw, composed of AJ Styles, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Riddle, and Sheamus, defeated Team SmackDown of Kevin Owens, King Corbin, Jey Uso, Otis, Seth Rollins.
I know when we made our picks for this, I was like, oh yeah, SmackDown's going to win this pay-per-view. I don't need to know who the rest of the people in the match are. I don't give a shit. Let's just get this over with. But then I saw the lineup, and then I saw Seth Rollins lay down for Sheamus, but just take me out and pin me. I was like, oh, fuck, SmackDown doesn't even have a team. Like, you got Kevin Owens. And
who was I know Otis was one of them we didn't have. Who was the other one we didn't have, or was it just Otis?
I think it was, I think it was just one in the men's. So I think it was just Otis, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, I said, after doing his best Orange Cassidy, Seth Rollins sacrificed himself. That was basically it. He came in and just didn't care.
Yeah, got on his knees. He said, you will serve your purpose. Told Sheamus he will serve his purpose, and then just kind of sat there for the brogue kick.
Yeah, I literally went out to the kitchen to grab a beer and some Nachos Grandes, and I came back and Styles was gone, and I didn't even realize it till a ways down the match yet.
Yeah.
After that, AJ Styles eliminated Kevin Owens with a phenomenal forearm. Riddle pinned Corbin. Keith Lee eliminated Jey Uso. And Strowman power slammed Otis for the clean sweep victory.
Yes. The Keith Lee Otis stuff was pretty okay. Although I feel like you should keep them away from each other most of the time. I think this is the one time you would have them kind of, because they're both the big guys. They're the new big guys in town. They're both very different, and I think they play well together. I don't know. I like big guys doing big power moves to each other.
Can I just say that Braun Strowman has done his best Big Show? My God, he's in the best shape I've ever seen him in.
He looks great.
I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, he looks great.
I don't know if he hasn't been on pay-per-views for a while, or if he just in 1 month cleaned up his act or something. But all of a sudden, I seen him and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, no, I think he's been real cut since they started his shit with Bray Wyatt right about that time. So
Raw gets the clean sweep. I gave it a grade C. mean, Survivor Series matches are tough to begin with. It's always hard. There's not